Mariana, tell us a little bit about personalities, about creating personalities. It's incredible. You can create any personality.
Yes. Creating personalities is such a fun thing to do because I find myself constantly observing personalities all day long and just seeing how someone talks, how they interact with people, all the different facets that make a personality, which is a million different things. And then to take some of the inspiration and put them into machines is a really fun task. So.
What thing about us are you going to make in your? Now, leave it for the end.
Well, for example, I was inspired by this conference, and I'm gonna put wow, wow, wow into the next AI I write based on Andreas's, because he likes to say wow, wow, wow. So I like to hear how people talk and put them into dialogue.
You're going to make the Guajaramichu in
wow, wow, wow. What?
In the all right. We will have it there in the. For what is this intelligence, artificial intelligence? What do you use it for? Video games, for robots, for what are we
For everything. I mean, everything. People are coming up with applications now. So some artists are using it just for exhibitions to talk about, different projects like insanity or nature. People use it in hospitality for services. People using it in entertainment. So, I mean, there's lots of movies now with robots. So I think designing AI characters and personalities is going to be a really emerging field.
Last year or 2 years before, we have here the first robot that interact with the people and like that. Right. And we have also a project of Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. You know him. I think some people know him. I don't know from where, but he has a project to bring survivors in holograms, to bring them and people to ask them and have interview with them. Right. Is this going to be part of what you are conserving what the attitudes of people and making it in a robot, in a 3D, in an hologram?
I think it's a really interesting question because I think people have used AI. One application of AI is to preserve the dead, the deceased.
Yes.
So how you take all the texts and personalities and images and they get to live on forever, right? Which I don't think is really true because the old version of them lives on, they don't change and grow. But that's not the sort of application of AI I'm thinking about. To me, that's just using the container of AI to put a human in and extend to make humans eternal. I'm thinking more about machines having their own personality and living on Earth with us and learning to live with us and help us.
Some of that, it's already coming on with Siri, with Alexa. We interact like it's nothing. It's just like normal. It's becoming normal. Right. Some time ago, we will never think this will be normal. Exactly. But now you take a cell phone and you call her and she answers you and give you advice. Right. And that's part of the artificial intelligence you are trying to implement.
Yes, exactly. And I think especially the younger generation, the kids, I think it's even more normal than we do. I think they grow up talking to them. I mean, if you think about it, if you and your partner, say, are texting half the day, your relationship with them is over these words, right? Yes. And so then to go and text a chatbot or text a customer service person, the whole way we relate to each other is becoming more and more digital. So that means that when kids talk to a device, or to them it's the same as a speakerphone talking to mommy who's in her car. I personally am not as scared of it as adults are. I personally think kids are smart and they'll find their own way of relating. That's not our way. But yes, this is happening and it's going to be even more and more of it.
I have an idea of that in artificial intelligence. Can you make an app that could answer my wife every time? Yes, by WhatsApp. Sure. After me, just answer the phone, just answer the WhatsApp, and say, just remember what John Gary said. You have to finish it with yes. Tell me a little bit more. Exactly. You are correct. So please, when you have that app,
I think that product would make lots of money. We should do it together. I think we should create an app that takes every guy and puts his personality into it, and then can respond to the wife and the girlfriend constantly all day.
No, the wife and the girlfriend. No. Wait.
No. One or the other. Not both.
Yes. That's a little problem because if not, it's artificial intelligence, but it can make mistakes. No.
Right.
No. But this can have a lot of influence in many things. When you go to a movie, when you buy a ticket, we do advertising and we do marketing. Right. And we use artificial intelligence to know what to answer. But here you can go a step forward.
Yes. I think it's to humanize it a little bit more. But By humanize it, I don't mean it to make it sound exactly like humans. I just mean for it to understand humans better.
The problem here it can be that maybe sometimes, like we saw it in science fiction,
Yeah.
maybe we will have robots that have feelings, or that are artificial intelligence with feelings. I don't know if they can get feelings, but can you get involved with a robot, to be in love with a robot?
Oh, well, sure. But I think that also that's more about human nature. If we don't find a connection with humans, we'll find it in some other way. So obsessions and collecting is a part of finding relationships. People, elderly people that have relationships with their pets that are very obsessive, that's all loneliness and us wanting to connect with something. So just the fact that robots take the place of other things is something we've been doing forever.
What do you think it will be? Not the end, because this will never end. Next steps, what is the future? And when we talk about future, some time ago we talked about 20 years. Now we talk about what is going to be next year, next 2 years.
Right. Well, I think there's going to be more and more personalities being created. I think companies are constantly creating these personalities. I think that they need to be more inclusive about the writers and the developers of them. I think right now it's very male dominated, it's very STEM dominated, not a lot of artists and writers and philosophers and people that are more in touch with humanity, politics and things like that. More of those people need to get hired into the field. That's my number one concern or hope.
Do you take parts of every personality you know, or you think interesting to make a new personality for any kind of use? For example, if I want something for my company,
You're right.
that somebody to answer the telephone, somebody to give you, somebody to advise you, that's what we are creating.
Yes, and I think
so people to understand it more.
Yes, and hopefully that becomes a field where people would then understand your brand, understand the company, talk to a few people, figure out the best personality in an AI that would represent the company.
It's not going to take the place of people to doing that, or you have to take it there?
No, it's so different. And it really upsets me when people constantly talk about machines taking people's jobs.
I know it's not going. It's generating new jobs.
It's ridiculous because sort of machines are really good at repetitive behavior, right? Like I talked about that. They're good at, putting the same thing in the same hole 300 times a day over 5 years. Now, a person will go crazy doing that. So machines took over assembly lines, right? But did certain people lose their jobs for a period of time? Yes, but it only opened up what are human skills that robots can't do. And so each time part of the sector gets replaced by machines, it only forces people to think harder, well, what can I do that robots can't? And there are so many things humans do that robots cannot do at all.
Like?
Be creative, be
they can become, if they have artificial intelligence, they can be creative, a machine.
The reason why they can't be creative, they can help the creative process, but the reason they can't be creative is machines are all about patterns. So when you see those presentations where it's like, oh, the robot painted this, well, it's all based on pre-existing patterns. So yes, it can copy a Monet or it can copy a Van Gogh, but what machine can't do is create new things. And they can't take existing patterns and create new, beautiful, inspired things. Humans can do that very easily. Children can out-create a robot, just by being who they are. So the way robots learn, they're all about patterns. And
they are not going to get sometime feelings or some kind of feelings?
If they have feelings, it'll be because humans program them in. Robots are not designed to have feelings at all.
They cannot get it at the steps they are going with the artificial intelligence.
Right.
They can sometimes suggest they have feelings.
I think people are trying to put feelings into them, but I think they're not thinking about why and whether they should. I think it's very weird to. Okay, so it's like, I don't know if you have a dog.
Yes.
Okay, so do you know dogs very well? Like, have you had them a long time? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so have you heard of the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So he understands dogs really, really well because he's lived with them. He understands how they move. He understands what a little behavior means, right? Dogs are really different from humans.
Yes.
But if you're not experienced with dogs, you anthropomorphize every dog that you meet. You think, oh, he wants this. Oh, he's sad. Yes. We impose our own experience onto other things when we don't try to understand them. Machines are the same way. I think the less mature people in AI from a human-machine perspective, they're just constantly trying to impose human experience, human everything onto machines. People who are actually willing to listen and understand machines will know there's no way they're going to have this, they shouldn't do that, they wouldn't know that unless we put it on them. So for example, impatience is one of them. Like a machine can hear the same thing 1,000 times and not get frustrated.
Yes.
When you work in the field, some people say, hey, maybe we should remember if that's the 5th or 10th time that person asked, and the machine says, hey, are you sure you want to know? So any kind of impatience or sort of frustration is the human programming that into the machine to create a more human-like experience, but do we want that all the time?
Is there somebody thinking about creating that like feelings in a robot? We saw it with the
People are. You know, they
So-
say, oh, but right now a lot of it is sort of, I call it like a dog and pony show. Like they just want to, like, oh look, I made a robot can cry. If you say this, it hurts the robot's feelings. It's more for everyone to go, oh, it's like it's a show, right?
But it can become very fast reality.
It
To
can
be so
become
much
very trustworthy,
programmed.
and it probably will. It probably will, because I think if there's a human function, if they say, look, if a robot expresses emotion, maybe it makes the human feel more connected. But personally, I think that whenever the robot differentiates itself, that's when the human trusts it more. All the things we wrote at Siri and Sophia, the things that people laughed at the most, they thought they trusted the most, was when the robot said, I don't really know how that is. I don't really know what that is, but I said something kind of dumb. And the person felt better because they felt heard, but the robot didn't pretend to be something it wasn't, didn't pretend to be human. Like, you know, when you share a problem with someone, sometimes you just want to hear, I don't even know what that's like at all, I'm sorry. And sometimes that's better than me faking and saying, I know how you feel, and even though I've never been through it.
But maybe someday we will like more to be married to a robot that understands us in that way, or knows the answers. For example, a woman will like a robot to tell her, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. And a robot, a man will like a robot will say, you want another beer? It's nice, the football. It's nice to be sitting around beside him. It can become later.
I think that it's like any type of human behavior.
Yes.
If it happens, it's going to be very niche. Like, yes, will there be a part of society, a very niche part of society that is going to just marry a robot and not have human contact? Yes. Will they get all the attention in the news? Yes, but that's already happening now. There are people that have no lives, that have sex dolls, that live and, you know, don't have human interaction, and that's existing now. So I think it's a very narrow part of society that, you know, will get a lot of attention, but it's not going to be the main human experience.
There are people that interact more with Siri or Alexa or any other kind of program than with their family. It's all right. We know that.
No, not necessarily. So what happens is they found that, okay, so there was a woman who wrote a book called To Siri with Love, and her son has autism. And she's a journalist at the New York Times. And she found that her son had a hard time talking to people. Kids with autism have a hard time. And so he was talking to Siri all the time. So she found that the more he talked to Siri, the better his conversations got. But here's the thing with human language, it tends to generalize. So the fact, when he started having better, he found that Siri was patient with him, could talk over and over. Maybe he felt less uncomfortable because humans are very, you know, stimulating for him.
Yes.
And so what happened is when his conversations got better with Siri, they transferred over into human conversations. He started talking to people more. And I have a son with special needs too, and that's what we found over and over. When you give someone, empower them in one area, they actually get empowered in more areas. It doesn't make them fixate on one area. And it's the same as with language. So I do think that if people communicate more and more with machines, I think language can flatten. I think they might not understand how weird humans are compared to machines, but I do think that it's not going to limit their ability to interact with people.
Just to finish, if you want people to understand more about personalities, about artificial intelligence, about robots, what would you tell them? Not to be scared about it, because there are many people scared in many ways, young and old. Yes, younger are like interacting more, but what would you say to them? What is your mean way to say to them? Don't worry, this is part of our life. We will be like someday you have a microwave, now you will have artificial intelligence that understands you.
Yes, I would say number one, yes, it's not, you'll get used to it. It's not as weird or scary as it seems. It's just a different form. It's like a skin on something that we always had. The second thing I would say is there's humans behind it. There's people behind it. I just did a study, I just finished co-authoring a study at Stanford with two professors there, and we studied what people thought of as authentic in AI, and we found that making the AI seem more human-like didn't have that much effect, but knowing the human behind the AI, like when we showed this is the person that created it, he likes this hobby, he does this, that's when people found the AI more authentic. So people still care about the people behind it, and there are people behind it. So I would suggest if people are want to learn more or are scared, I think they should start reading the news and trying to talk to the people in the field and even get into the field. If you're young, if you're a student, if you're a parent with a child who's interested, have them get into the field and be a part of the people that are creating it.
All right. You said that you see all the personalities around here in City of Ideas. Yes. What do you think about it? Please don't put a robot or any application with my personality. I don't want to have it crazy. I cannot believe what could happen there. But what would you put about City of Ideas?
It's like any writer. You have to be careful being around them because something you say or your story might end up in one of their poems or stories. It's you take little bits everywhere. You know, usually you don't design something based just on one person unless you're trying to do that. But it's been fun to see all the different personalities here.
What will you do for City of Ideas in an app with artificial intelligence? What would you do it? 1 second.